Today is Tuesday, March 10th, 2026, around 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time. We're here in Orlando, Florida, outside the Orlando World Center Marriott, and we're hoping to take a bus. This bus is only for this hotel, like guests that are here, but then we're going to try to connect to the Disney area and just walk around some of the Disney properties and catch some Disney transportation and see how all that goes for a fun little day. And that might be our bus coming in right now. Oh shoot.
So this trip we make 2 stops. We're going to Disney Springs first, and then we go to Animal Kingdom. So it takes about 25-30 minutes total. So we'll be at Disney Springs in about 10 minutes, and then about 15-20 minutes over to Animal Kingdom. All right, those of you going to Disney Springs, just want to make sure you know our first return on the bus is not until 5:30. So just make sure you know that. So 5:30 is our first return, and then it's every hour at the bottom of each hour on the 30. So, and then Animal Kingdom, those folks going there, all the return times for the other parks are printed up on the monitor there. So those are all the
So this particular bus will take about 25-30 minutes to get to Animal Kingdom. And then once we get there, we can start taking Disney properties. The reason I picked Animal Kingdom is, again, we're not going inside any of the parks, but where we're positioned there, we'll be able to take like a boat ride over to the Swan and Dolphin area and the Boardwalk, and just start keep taking the free Disney transportation system, buses, and transportation methods. Could either be the monorail, or boats, or whatever. Alright, so the driver was nice. He reminded me that Animal Kingdom is further out, and it was actually Hollywood Studios that we wanted to go to. So since we were the only ones left on the bus after he made a stop at Disney Springs, he dropped us off there. And then we have the option of taking the Skyliner, which wasn't available when we were here in 2019. I can't remember if it was I think it was under construction to some degree still, but that goes from here to the back of Epcot. You can see it going all the way. So we'll take that at some point as I lower the camera a little bit. But there's also a boat that we may want to take in this area that goes over by Swan and Dolphin and that whole area. So we'll see which one we go to first. And as these gondolas pass us, of course the one I'm showing doesn't have it, but that one over there you can see in Kanto. They have like a theme on most of them, or there's another one on the left. So the majority of them, I'd say probably 75% of them have a theme. The other 25% do seem to be blank. Oh, there's Coco. So I think since we're close to the gondolas or Skyliner, we might end up trying those first. I wonder how quickly people get loaded into them. Like if you have to like hop on and then you're on. That'll be interesting to see that process. But up ahead would be the park for Hollywood Studios. Yeah, so the line you can see doesn't look that long, and for perspective, they just load. They've got like 4 or 5 at one time. You just quickly hop on, and then boom, you're on. So we'll see how this goes. The Disney Skyliner.
Sério? Não, tem TDAH mesmo.
Good. Oh, that's challenging. You have to fold that bigger one. 3. So we'll go to 285. Quickly get on. Make sure the baby doesn't fly out. And assuming that these doors close in a second. There you go, the door's closed.
Look, Sophia. I can see her face. Let me go. You wanna get up?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard the Disney Skyliner at Disney's Hollywood Studios.
So that's where we
We are
just
on
came
our way
from.
to Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort with connecting flights to Epcot International Gateway, Disney's Pop Century Resort, and Disney's Art of Animation Resort. We hope you enjoyed your visit to Hollywood today. Now wave goodbye to your adoring fans below. Bye!
Say bye-bye.
So our card, this may be beneficial for us. We don't have a
What?
window cling to ours, you know, like these other ones. I wonder if you had one that had, for example, this Toy Story theme, if you could actually see through to the outside, or if you'd be a little bit faded. It's probably like how a bus works, where it's more pixelated.
In just a few moments, we will be traveling over the headwaters of the Everglades. The water that flows from the protected wetlands around Walt Disney World Resort travels all the way to the Everglades, the Atlantic Ocean, and the Gulf of Mexico.
No.
No.
Oh.
Okay, sorry.
Oh.
So this is supposed to make multiple stops. That's right, Sophie.
Yes, baby. I know. It's
But I think the final one ends up being Epcot.
We will be arriving at Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort shortly. All passengers must disembark and transfer at this station. Thank you.
I guess
And
we
hope
disembark
you
here.
enjoyed
So maybe you have
the
to keep
most
picking up if you
magical
go to other
flight on
ones.
Earth.
No. Yeah, we're gonna go to the next one. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
No. You try to get back. No. Okay.
Please remain seated until the doors automatically open. When exiting the cabin, please supervise children, collect your belongings, and watch your step.
So obviously you have to be cognizant if you're bringing a stroller on board, whether it's a good size. This is a nice small one. You saw that other person had almost like a jogging stroller that they had to collapse before they could get out. But right now we're entering the station here, so we should be getting off. It is advised to remain seated because when it does that little jerk, you know, you can lose balance. But when the doors open just up ahead here, I'll back out of the door. Made it out securely. So this is Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort, or transfers to other parks and resorts. So then that's where this one ends. And I assume if you want to take it to the other ones, you've got, let's see here, multiple ones. This one's to the Art of Animation or Disney's Pop Century Resort. Or this one over here goes by the Riviera Resort or Disney's Epcot. So multiple choices. That's cool. I didn't realize they had like 3 different stations that would meet up. This is probably the meetup point for all 3 of them, like the central location. So we'll go to the one, or try the one that goes behind Epcot. Alright, we're next up for the Epcot one. Okay, so we're in the purple one here. Alright, tying this up. Yeah, so this is what I was referring to earlier. Since this one has a theme on it, I assume there's some type of theme, even though I can't see what it is. You get that less visible view of the outside. Sophia, you enjoying it?
Welcome aboard, Islanders. You are on the Disney Skyliner at Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort. We're flying to Disney's Riviera Resort with continuing flights to Epcot.
I see Epcot.
Hold on to your straw hats. We are about to enter the heart of the Caribbean. We are now sailing over Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort, home to a collection of tropical villages inspired by the colorful architecture and lifestyle of the Caribbean islands.
I know.
Bush.
Yeah.
Bush.
Yeah. Is that the water?
Or yeah.
Look at the water.
In just a minute, we will be arriving at Disney's Riviera Resort, a Disney vacation club that celebrates the relaxing seaports and romantic vistas of Europe's Mediterranean coast.
So we make a stop at the Riviera location, but if you are going to Epcot, you can stay on here. You just let them know, like, hey, we're staying on, and then it's going to continue on to Epcot. One continuous motion. On the way to the back entrance of Epcot now.
We are now traveling along Buena Vista Drive. This roadway and the city of Lake Buena Vista were established in 1969 when Walt Disney World Resort was first being developed. They are both named after Buena Vista Street in Burbank, California, where the Walt Disney Company's headquarters are still located today. Please remain seated until the doors automatically open. When exiting the cabin, please supervise children, collect your belongings, and watch your steps. Thank you for flying with us. Por favor, permanezcan sentados.
I'm ready to get off now. This is Epcot, back entrance. Alright, we just got off at Epcot. You do have to be like cognizant of the balance and being ready to get off, and especially if you have a stroller. More so if you have a stroller, I guess. So yeah, this is interesting because if this would have been here functioning in 2019, we definitely would have tried it. This is actually where we had stopped in. There's a kind of crazy incident that happened over here on the left. I was filming, but not for Poco Traveler, and we had finished walking all the way over here, kind of stopped, and all of a sudden, some guy who claimed to be security of some kind came up to me and said, "Excuse me, sir, do you realize what you're doing is illegal?" And I just said, and he said, "This is a security entrance. You can't film this area. Like, I need to see you delete that video." So he made me like show me him or myself deleting it off my phone. But of course, I just put it to the recycle bin and then restored it after I left the area. But I was like, that was crazy. So yeah, this would be Epcot over here, the park. Alright, so we are done with the Skyliner, and right now we are walking toward the Boardwalk area, which includes the Swan and Dolphin Hotel. Swan and Dolphin is where we stayed back in 2019 for the conference. So we'll go ahead and make a left-hand turn here as we walk along the boardwalk. It ends up being a big loop where you can circle and you can walk all the way. You can walk all the way down that way. There's several Disney properties that aren't the Swan and Dolphin. There are like other small beach area resorts. Then that big one there is the Swan and Dolphin. Looks like one of the resorts may be under construction. And then the boardwalk area is just up ahead. I don't think I mentioned the temperature earlier when I started this video, but it is roughly 85 degrees, and it says near record high today. So even though Orlando's known to be hot, and as is Florida, even for early March, this is hotter than usual weather for the area. It looks like construction happening on, unless those are new properties they're building, that's possible too. I know for sure that resort was here back in 2019, as well as that boat, that like shipwrecked boat over there, and as well as the lighthouse. But maybe those are just new ones that they're building. I have to look back and check. As Sophia is having fun getting ready to walk toward the boardwalk. My brother had reminded me of yesterday when he was texting me. He said, remember that god-awful pizza we had here? And I was like, oh yeah, it did jog my memory. You know, we love having pizza everywhere. And we had gotten pizza on the boardwalk, and we were like, man, this is pretty bad. That was like the second worst pizza we had ever had. The first one being near Las Vegas in 2017. It's one or more of these spots, I forget exactly where, but you can catch a water taxi that would take you right back to the Hollywood Studios area. So I think after we're done exploring the boardwalk area here, we're going to probably do that. Take the water taxi, you know, they'll continue mixing up the transportation modes. And then once after we do a water taxi, I'd like to find a way to get toward the Magic Kingdom area. Maybe Fort Wilderness, but we'll see how all that goes. Let's see the view over here. Who's this? Who's that coming up? So excited. Trying to recall what version of the boat we took. Was it that thing? I felt like it was a smaller, tiny one like that, but maybe it was a bigger one. And my recollection is that one docks even beyond that area. We'll figure that out as we get closer. Oh yeah, that'd be way too small. We definitely didn't take that small of a boat. Maybe it was one of those bigger ones. I mean, there's some of them I think that just go across the water. But there is one that, and it might be further on down, like actually after you know, beyond the boardwalk, closer to Swan and Dolphin, that takes you through the canal that goes all the way to Hollywood Studios. But we have not eaten today, and it's afternoon, just afternoon. So we're gonna go ahead and try to grab a bite at one of these places. There's a cake bake shop restaurant. So that one says restaurant and that one says bakery. So I think my wife is gonna look at the menus and decide. You also have Boardwalk ice cream. And then continuing on the Boardwalk Deli. Some nice seated tables with the umbrella shading it. Sandwiches and fresh salads. We got breakfast and lunch and dinner options. Then a little bit further down, well, let me pan to the right here first. You got Boardwalk Joe's and Marvelous Margaritas. Margaritas and smoothies. And then over here, Italian wines, house-made gelatos, hand-rolled notch, pizza. That's, I think those are the pizza things we got that weren't worth it. Maybe it's changed though. Brick oven pizza, regional antipasta. That's probably at the Italian place too. Trattoria al Forno. And then you've got our arcade bar. Blue ribbon corn dogs. Alright, I'm going to stop here and check out what the wife thinks, and then I'll film one once I get back to this area. Grabbed a small bite to eat. And then here's the, I think they're called Surrey bikes that you can rent and drive around. A single beach Surrey bike is $30 for a half hour. Or a double bench Surrey bike is $35 for a half hour. That's one of the piers. I can't remember if that's the one. Maybe that's the one we would board to go to other places like Hollywood Studios. Then you got a general store over here on the left. Let's see. Nice little amusement park roller coaster thing. And yes, they are open. 8:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. There's snacks and goodies, pastries, and other general merchandise throughout. Hello. You can see the Ferris wheel. So what's interesting is when I was at the Disney store in Disney Springs the other day, I couldn't find the souvenirs that we had bought in 2019, but I found the equivalent one here for Mickey for the year 2026, and right next to it, the one that my brother had gotten of Woody. Pretty sure it's the same one. $13, yep, same type of price too.
depending on what happens with the Epic window.
With it being about 1:14 p.m., you can feel those temperatures picking up.
So you can dance.
Yeah, over there, that's right. I think that's where we would get the water taxi in the past, and it goes down that way toward Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, like enough that I can.
And even though they have the water taxi, there's also a walkway where you could walk along the water the entire way to the Hollywood Springs area. At least that's my recollection. I'm pretty sure you can. I wonder if they probably still have it. There was a sign over here, like a picture frame, where you could do Swan and Dolphin. I forget which one's which, but I think that's the Swan, and then the one over here is Dolphin. No, wait a minute, there's Swan up there up top, and then that one may be Dolphin. But it's the same, you know, overall property, just connected by two different wings. In terms of look and feel, I don't know if you can beat this one here, the Swan and Dolphin. I mean, Orlando Center Marriott's like big, but out the exterior just looks like a generic hotel. This one looks like, to me, you're truly on an experience. And you've got the Swan boats going over there. And then just to our right is the water taxi. I forget how often they depart, but that's where we're going to try to head to shortly. Let's go ahead and check out if they can give us an estimate on that. the way the boating situation here works is you got the one lane there if you want to go to Epcot via the Yacht Club, Beach Club, Disney's Boardwalk. So back basically where we came from, or Disney Hollywood Studios in this line. And it sort of gives you the glimpse of where we're at. This is where we're currently at. There is a walking path to Epcot. That's where we came from along the boardwalk. Or there's a walking path to Disney Hollywood Studios that I showed you down through that pathway there. But this boat that we're waiting for would also go through this canal. It says it comes about every 20 to 30 minutes for the boats. And now our boat, presumably, is making its grand arrival. Saying so long to the Swan and Dolphin. Camped out in the back.
What?
Said we camped out in the back.
Alright, folks, welcome aboard First Floor. Remain seated. For the smoke here, ready, next stop, Hollywood.
The other side you've got various resorts. the quickness, it's a quicker ride, in my opinion, by far to get from, even though the gondolas dropped us off at Epcot, to go from Hollywood Studios to Epcot via gondola versus Hollywood Studios to the Swan and Dolphin. The boat's going to get you there quicker if you time it up. Now the Skyliner, you can just pretty much walk on, catch it on demand. This one, you know, if you're waiting for the boat, it might take 20 minutes. Let's see how Sophia's doing. I think the hot weather may be making her a little less enthused about the outdoors today.
Alright folks, that's in the Hollywood Studios right now. These remain seated. We are pre-flight. We could bump around to that car. Simply quick to catch us all there. Seated as we go short. This is Hollywood Studios, your last load tonight, folks, at 10 o'clock tonight.
So this runs until 10 o'clock, the boat. Due to the weather, even though the sun just went down a second ago for the first time, due to the hot weather, wife and baby are going back to the hotel, probably to the pool. I will continue on my adventures of exploring and trying to show the Disney transportation and some of the outdoor areas that can be walked on. So for some perspective, if you were watching earlier in the video, we got dropped off by our hotel bus at one of these gates. It was gate 63. We walked over to there and took the gondola that took us all the way to Epcot and the Swan and Dolphin area. And then just beyond these restrooms, like on the other side of that, that's where the water taxi dropped us off at. And then we just walked around here back to the bus area. What I'm going to do right now is look at the bus directory. There's a sign over here that's related to the bus directory. So this is at many of the park areas or even like Disney Springs. What you'll do is you'll have gate numbers. And if you're trying to go somewhere, all of these should be free buses that are listed here. So if I wanted to go to Disney Springs, just gotta find where Disney Springs is located on the thing. For Disney Springs, transfer to any resort minivan connected by lift at gate 30. I guess it's gate 30. I'm not familiar with the sponsored by Lyft thing, but maybe that's a newer one. If you wanted to go to Magic Kingdom though, let's see if there's a Magic Kingdom. Yeah, gate 36, and so on and so forth. And then they have the symbols, whether it be you're taking via boat, there's the gondola or Skyliner, and the rest of these that have numbers are associated with buses. Alright, so after looking at the map online, some people have makeshift maps that they've created on their own that are mostly accurate. I think what I'm going to do is catch the bus number 32 that goes to Epcot, although earlier with the gondolas or Skyliner we went to the back part of Epcot. The bus should take us to the front of Epcot. Oh, I didn't know there was a bus directory right over there too. So if I catch the bus at gate 32, that will take me to the front of Epcot, and then from there I can get a glimpse of the big globe or sphere, and then the monorail that goes to Magic Kingdom is located there as well, so that'll be able to show us the monorail, and then we can walk around the Magic Kingdom area for a bit. So these are gates 19 through 30. I tell you, it figures that the sun, it's great for me that the sun goes away briefly. I wish I would have done that when my wife and daughter were exploring so they weren't baking in the sun. So we'll just head on over to gate 32. I think the average wait time for these buses is also like 15 to 20 minutes. But when you consider that navigating around the Disney areas, if you want to go to multiple places, it's free this way. And if you were to do an Uber or a ride share, oftentimes those have, you know, if you have a child with you, you need a car seat. So what are you going to do in that situation? Unless you're not going to bring a whole booster or car seat to the park. This is gate 32 that we're waiting for. Gate 33 you can see is boarding right now, but that one is going to a different spot. So Epcot might have come recently since there's only one person in line, but we'll go ahead and wait here anyway. So one little clarification, after looking online, I thought every main park had a bus that would go to Disney Springs. Apparently Hollywood Studios does not. So that minivan that I referenced earlier, provided by Lyft, you do have to pay for that. So if you want to catch Disney Springs from Hollywood Studios, you gotta go somewhere else first and then connect on a bus that shows that. And there's maps online. I'll try to include a link in the video that you can reference for that. And then it just pulled up the bus that you can take to Epcot. Right. So then you board right now. We're just gonna sit in the back of the bus because got some views out the window. Oops, sorry, my camera's angled upward again. I'll resume whenever we're about to take off. Alright, we are starting to pull away. You can see people waiting at other gates. So the Epcot one happened to be very slim in terms of number of people getting on, but let's see if we can tell what that one is. That one, yeah, I couldn't make it out. Whatever that one was, it had a fairly long line. I mean, there's probably enough spots on the bus for it. That's how the whole Disney setup is. Like I said earlier, it really is its own city. And they've done a great job of making sure you can get by with transportation. Now, of course, if you're staying at the resorts or going into the parks, it is crazy expensive. So that's one of the reasons they can afford this whole system. Because if they didn't have this system, you know, that would even really make the cost that much greater. And you can't expect, like, they probably don't want too many cars in the area. It'll just cause too much congestion. So these modes of transportation, people can kind of make their own day. But if you're a more casual person like me, or my brother was when he went with me that year, maybe consider, like, hey, if you want to swing by the Disney area and just see what the campus, so to speak, is like, you can spend a day doing this. Hop in between various modes of transportation, and then for the time you actually want to do stuff, besides sightseeing, you can go to Disney Springs, which we have a video also posted on. And that's where you can do all your shopping, eating, and also sightseeing there. There's as we get out to Buena Vista Drive, you can see the Skyliner, and there's Swan and Dolphin we were on in the background. on this other side of the bus. So let's shift our stuff over there. That's the waterway we just blew by where we took the water taxi or boat. Let me actually look at the map. Maybe this one stops at the Swan and Dolphin. So if I'm following, I think it's the port. Epcot. I think it's the red colored buses on my map. So going from Hollywood Studios. There's no real red. I think it's stopping at the Swan and Dolphin, possibly. Or not. Goes by the Swan and Dolphin, and there's a Fantasia mini golf. So if someone's in a mini golf, they can do that. It's at the Swan and Dolphin Resort, but I think anyone can go and pay for a round of whatever you want to do. Epcot, which again shouldn't take us that long. You saw us take the Skyliner there earlier and then walk over to where the boat was. There, the overhead thing is the monorail system, which I believe would take you to Magic Kingdom going that direction. So one thing to note is, even though some areas are walkable, like that whole first stretch here between Hollywood Studios, the back of Epcot, and the Swan and Dolphin, that whole thing forms like a pocket where you can walk between. But if you want to leave those areas, it is impossible to walk because there's nothing but highways. You have to leverage buses or the transportation systems. You can see approaching Epcot in the background. Parking. If you were paying the park, maybe you start doing your admission there, but the bus just goes through, or ride shares.
Epcot. Return service to your resort hotel is available at this station. Be sure to ask your driver for the exact location. Smoking is not permitted at all, except in the designated area outside of our entrances. Please collect your belongings, watch your hands step when visible, take small children by the hand, and follow the walkway to the entrance. At your own schedule, please keep recording together. Thanks for riding with us, and have a wonderful time here in Epcot.
I think the buses that you see parked over here are just waiting to be put in use at a later time of the day, perhaps. It's a similar setup with Hollywood Studios. Again, you've got the various stations, like this is spot 17 here. You have shaded protection. I'm not sure if these ones have fans. The one at Hollywood Studios had fans blowing cool air down on you. But it at least gives you some relief so you're not just standing in the sun waiting for your thing. And then we'll see which one this pulls up to. Right now it's at 15, but we're about to turn left. There's some more stations along the right there, but it looks like we're pulling over into spot number 12. And there would be a corresponding map directory here as well. It's just that not all this information is available online from the get-go. As far as like what spot it's actually going to be at, you got to kind of go to the park and then check out what the signage says and the frequency of them. Temperature right now is, let me refresh, .89 degrees, feels like 91, near record high for early March. So then you start walking a little bit to get to the front of the park. I know Epcot has a lot of international flavor to it when you're inside. I haven't been in it personally, but that's my general understanding from what I've read in the past. So that's a do not enter. Those are for people exiting. There are restrooms located over there. You can follow the arrows. Monorail, I mean, it's pointing upward, but really, you know, that's in a closed area. You got to go this way to get to it. And here's your bus transportation guide for Epcot. And this one should have Disney Springs on it on one of these. If not, I'm going to be surprised. Huh, it still says Disney Springs for the lift one. I definitely know there's some buses that go to Disney Springs. I feel like that's a change since I was last year, but maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe I'm just forgetting wrong on where we had connected. And there's your monorail station. You're not going to get the best shot of the sphere from here because, you know, security and that is stationed there, but we'll head on over to the monorail. Alrighty, so the monorail. This one says exit only, so where's the entrance to the monorail? Unless it is through there. I don't think it was. Let's see here. Alright, so yes, you do go through security, and all those people just blow through because they don't really have a bag. I'm carrying my camera equipment, so they searched everything thoroughly, which I endorse and like that they do that because, you know, you never want to be fearful of what's in the properties, you know, Disney properties. You want to make sure it's 100% safe, so I completely endorse that. But now we're going to find a way to get to the monorail. What's a base ticket? 2 days, $361 or something like that. And here's the entrance to the monorail. And again, the monorail is free to take. Takes you to Magic Kingdom. Operating hours say 7:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Hope you guys are enjoying this video. I know it may not be typically what you see, like if you're watching videos on Disney, you might see people actually entering theme parks and, you know, showing off everything inside of there. But since I'm not doing that, I hope giving a visual representation of the Disney transportation system helps out and how you can navigate in between things if you are going to the parks, or even if you just want to walk around like I am. One of the keys is you will make some mistakes along the way, you know, but you're able to quickly figure them out or ask people for help. So now we just wait for the monorail to show up for its next run. And here it comes, pulling on up. So people should be exiting through the other side. Once everybody gets off, they'll open these gates and then the doors, or once most people get off. See what each monorail car kind of looks like as you go through. Remember, that's the exit, and then the way we just came in right here. The actual ride on the monorail itself is not going to be very scenic, but it helps you pass through all those highway areas and then stretch out to where Magic Kingdom is located. Magic Kingdom has, I think, 3 or 4 resorts that are surrounding it on the exterior. There's the Epcot Welcome we passed through on the bus earlier. Yeah, other than that, Magic Kingdom's kind of in its own little segment of Walt Disney World.
One more, Davis.
Depending on which car you get in.
Should we go back? I want to try to see. I think that Hatbox goes. The Tiana, the Hatbox goes. These are the 2 I think that I want.
believe we're getting into the Walt Disney World, I mean the Magic Kingdom area. I can see the resorts in the background. Now this doesn't take you all the way to the front of the park. I believe you either take a ship that goes across the sea, or you can take another monorail that literally does a circle through the resorts that are on the Walt Disney World campus, including one of them getting off at, sorry, when I say Walt Disney World, I mean Magic Kingdom area, including one of them that gets off close to Magic Kingdom. But you would have to transfer to do that. This would be the equivalent of being bag checked like we were earlier. So I guess, in theory, since I was bag checked once within the Epcot area, that helps ensure that anyone taking the monorail should be safe without needing to be rescreened between Epcot and Magic Kingdom. But again, I just assume that to be true. We'll see. We're going to be getting off on the left side here.
It is. It's super comfy. It's so cute. Thank you. Yes, I was hoping it was going to get here before the trip, and it did. Awesome. Yeah, I know. I was like,
I know you're doing it. I live it every day. Even like why? Like, I don't like the good with the business free. You were already. Or you were insistent. But you were. And they were like, oh, by yourself. But you don't. There's no way I'm going to worry about you. You don't understand.
So earlier I was confused a little bit about Disney Springs buses, and when I re-looked at the map, now I understand. So Disney Springs buses do not go to the 4 main parks, but where they do go is to all of the Disney resort properties. So all you need to do is connect to one of those. So when we were at Swan and Dolphin earlier, if we went to the appropriate bus stop, we could have gone to Disney Springs via one of the buses. So there's definitely a lot of buses that do go to it. You just have to pivot a little bit, maybe make like a separate small trip. So here's the monorail going back to Epcot. There's the Magic Kingdom ferry boat. There's also boats that go between this, or a tram that goes between the resort hotels, the resort monorail, service to Polynesian Resort, Grand Floridian, and Contemporary Resort. Or you can walk them. Let me think about what I want to do here. Yeah, let's go ahead and walk this way. See if my memory serves me correct. I think we can just walk to Polynesian. But way in the background there, probably too small to see, is Magic Kingdom. Where that huge castle is. So you can take the ferry boat that goes across that sea to right to Magic Kingdom. There's the resort hotels. I'm trying to remember if the resort hotels is the one that also drops you off at. Let me think about this again too. If I go that way, I think I'll have to exit through security before going back to Magic Kingdom. So let me regroup here under the shade and debate what I want to do. Alright, so I think, I'm trying to look at Google Maps. I think I might be able to walk to the left up here, but we'll see. If not, Google Maps is just wrong, and then I gotta remember how to navigate to the hotels. But let's see when we get over there if we're able to go to the left. Is there a walkway here? Yes or no? Nope. Alright, so maybe that's only for cast members? That's where I'm trying to get to. Right over there. So I guess we have to exit. Or take one of the trains over there. Okay, we are going to take the Resort Hotels train. So that'll be like the monorail you see passing right here. And the reason I want to show this instead of just passing through, ignoring them, is it is fun to see the character inside of the hotels, these three, and like the themes that they have associated with them as we approach the platform. Alright, so now we're getting on. We'll pick one of these to step onto. So it only took like 2 minutes for the next monorail from the hotels to come, and it's probably only going to take like less than a minute to get to the Polynesian, which is just literally right there. I mean, we saw it across the way earlier. And then after Polynesian would be the Grand Floridian. Left-hand turn. Enter the actual resort itself. Sort of gives me vibes of how like the conservatory would be in Las Vegas. So you've got a coffee bar option there. Some relaxed seating over here, and we're on the second level of the quote like lobby area. The Moana shop, you've got Stitch prominently featured in this area. Otherwise it's just, you know, a gift shop of course, but a little more heavily themed to that presence. See some of the pin options or various little hats. I guess all these smaller ones have the toy car that I was referencing earlier from Toy Story. And you've got Lilo and Stitch. There was Encanto at one of the other stores. And I think this side has more of snacks. And then over there, there's more dining type options, which I think that's where the seating area is referencing. There's also an exit over this way that would take you down to the first level. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we'll check out the outside. See caricature drawings here. A little model of the Disney Cruise Line. You can see the first level here. There's a nice, pleasant seating area. Right outside in the first level, maybe we'll pop in and out to show that. There's a nice water stream garden area. Let's give a glimpse of what that looks like. Since we were on the second level, we didn't get to see it. That's where the monorail brought us in. So there's nice water as you're entering the main lobby, and it's on both sides with the waterfall. Then there's a boutique over there, more clothing related items. See the surfboard there for Disney's Lilo and Stitch. Outside here, pineapples, some construction going on here. Then a lot of the people who stay at the Polynesian are actually stay in, or if I guess all of them are staying in these type of areas, each independent grouping. Then you've got the cool swimming related areas, beach areas, Captain Hook's entrance, whatever that may be, the general pool and splash pad. I'm trying to recall the best way to get around. We might have to go all the way around the perimeter. I just don't recall if there's a path after the pool or if you're kind of closed off. We'll find that out in a second. Each of these areas, I believe, or housing units, has a name associated with it. Like this one is Hawaii. Here's moment of truth. Is there a spot to walk along the left here, or do I gotta go around? I think we can walk. Yeah, it looks like it. You've got a beach setting. That one's the Grand Floridian, I think. Then I'm trying to remember, this one over here, is that additional ones for this resort, the Polynesian? Without that construction earlier, I think there might be a way where you could have just walked across this way, and there still might have been. Maybe that Captain Hook's entrance would have allowed that, but the construction was throwing me for a bit. I can smell some good food in this area. Maybe that's what the Captain Hook's place was, a restaurant that could be there, although that says Trader Sam's entrance. And then you've got a map here. So that's where the main lobby was. We saw the pool. We're walking right here right now. And that island tower must be part of it. Let's do this though. Let's see if we can go back inside and just take the monorail straight to Grand Floridian, because it is hot, and from what I recall when my brother and I did it, let's see, can we get in here? No, you gotta go this way. From when my brother and I did it, it is a bit of a outstretched walk. Like, it's manageable, but I don't have to sweat and have downtime in footage. Let's go ahead and just utilize the transportation like we've been doing. Not sure if that takes us back to the lobby. No. We'll try it. I think if I go straight here, the direct left. You can see how there's throughout hotels too. There's a lot of little Easter eggs around corners. It makes it nice if you have a lot of extra time to kill in just walking around. Yeah, we're back in the main lobby here. So we can just go up to the second level. We'll do it through the... I'll resume the footage once we get back up there. I'm just going to take the same stairway I took earlier. So there is a security screening again when you're going out to the monorail. They didn't check me this time. I just went through the thing and they waved me on. And now I'm waiting to go to the... I think it's the Grand Floridian next. Now we're at the Grand Floridian.
Clothes and diapers, you can probably smush them. Yeah.
And there's your Grand Floridian and the Grand Piano. Now, no one's playing at it like when we were here the one time, but someone often will be at that piano. But just a beautiful view. Alright, this one I'm not really going to do a full tour of. I'm just sort of showing, wanted to show like the main lobby architecture. So I'm going to head right back out. Again, there is security, so we'll see how in depth they do it. Here it comes again. Now, I think it's supposed to go to Magic Kingdom and then the Contemporary. Contemporary is where I want to take a boat to Fort Wilderness area. But now that I'm seeing like the security each time, and it's fine, they're doing the security, I understand it, but this is like the fourth time in a short span I have to check the entire bag. So I might skip the Magic Kingdom stop in terms of getting out, just so I can avoid the hassle for me taking a quick view. We'll probably be able to see it from the monorail anyway. So I'm going to probably stay on and get off at the Contemporary Hotel and hopefully board the boat that's there. You can see more of the Grand Floridian properties as we approach Magic Kingdom in the background. And the Contemporary's that white building over there.
Look straight ahead.
Disney Castle.
It's fun. Ride down boat, takes you right
So this would be the stop you get off at for Magic Kingdom. them as we're passing by. So we're going to be going through the Contemporary, which is, again, that building coming up right over there. From what I remember, I think this monorail actually goes inside the facility. And I'm hoping that the boat that I remembered doesn't have to like exit security and go through something else. For reference, they didn't have, no one's had any issue with my equipment. The only question someone had was I have like a thing of 4 Allen wrenches in my bag. Normally I wouldn't have even taken that, but yesterday we did bike riding videos and I had that plus my locks in here. I removed the locks, but those had just slipped to the bottom of the bag in one of the pockets, so I completely forgot I put them in there. But when they asked, they said, yeah, they're fine. But in general, they said they've been told no tools are allowed. Like probably you can't bring a screwdriver or a hammer in, which makes sense. Oh, you also get a good shot of the Magic Kingdom from over here. Let me try to zoom in again. And that white thing, spiral thing, is Space Mountain. And now we're entering the Contemporary, the interior portion.
2 years ago?
And we'll exit through the other side.
We only use passes for like 3 days.
Thank you.
Oh, now you.
We got exit to escalators this way. Let me go ahead and throw my backpack on real quick. And then we'll get a view of the inside of this hotel. Oh, is this another security point? No, I think we're fine if we're coming off the monorail. We're just leaving. So you've got all the artwork, the Fantasia store, BVG, Chef Mickey's. Right now, to try to navigate and figure out where the boat is. My general instincts are taking me this way and trying to see if there's an exit over to our right side. Another way to the Fantasia Market. Let's see over here. Yeah, I just don't quite remember, but I mean, the closer I get to the water, the closer I've got to be to it. This Welcome Home to Disney Vacation Club members. I don't know, this looks like it's just going across the way. I feel like I want to be down there. So let's figure out how we can keep going downward. Guess the staircase. Probably was an elevator we could have taken inside. Turn left to return to guest area. Peaceful looking area. Nice shade over here too. Now to figure out if this is the right place where the boat's stuck for the Fort Wilderness spot. So if I would have continued the footage walking, I would have come down here. I asked that guy there where the Disney transportation boats are, and they said, oh, one just left, but you just go to the end of that dock right there, and then you can pick it up. So I'm looking for the Fort Wilderness one. There's one that goes to a campground, I think, and one that goes to Fort Wilderness. I'm trying to go to the Wilderness one that has like walking trails and such. But I'm gonna, sorry, I had the camera up again. I'm gonna go ahead and hang out in the shade until I see a boat coming. I don't remember the size of the boat. I'm pretty sure it's not that, but I want to start heading this way regardless, since it should be coming in the near future. There's a lot of construction being done. Maybe it's new properties over there. Let's see if we have any signage. Oh, okay, there is signage. So on the left side there, built boat to Wilderness Lodge, and then on the right side, boat to Fort Wilderness. And we're trying to go to Fort Wilderness. Fort Wilderness is a little bit further on down, and I think Wilderness Lodge is more that way. Seems like both boats are returning around the same time. That one to the Wilderness Lodge, and then presumably this one coming over to Fort Wilderness. Seems like most people are shifting toward the Wilderness Lodge. We're going to be heading on to this one here. Right. Backing away from the dock now. The other one ahead of us going to the lodges, Wilderness Lodges, and then saying goodbye to the Contemporary Hotel Magic Kingdom area. I guess, are those the lodges? It's just over there. That's not that far of a trip if it is. We have a little bit of a further trip. It's still not going to take that long. I think we do go around one type of little island. think the island I was referencing, I think I can already see the docking station for Fort Wilderness. But yeah, as far as this place goes, might be a new resort being developed for all I know. There's a whole bunch of new things they're doing there. And like I said, I'm pretty sure that's where we're docking. On the other end is just nothing but clear water. So we're going to be docking there, but you see the several new structures, and it looks like it's not just going to be the campgrounds anymore. To me, that looks like a whole new resort. So I'll have to look into that and what that will be called. Alright, so we're going to get ready to dock here. I'm going to load my camera equipment in anticipation, and then I'll resume when I'm getting ready to begin the walk. Alright, so just got off the boat. You can still see where we came from in the distance. But now on to Fort Wilderness. This was one of our most memorable things back in 2019 because we grew up with metro parks in Cleveland, Ohio, and like doing trails. And I know, yes, you're at Disney, but for someone who wants to explore the general area, we were like, oh yeah, this is cool to have something like this part of our element at Disney. It's a little far away, but there is the map, so we're starting all the way at the top, and you can just walk the trails that go all the way through various lodges, and there are some shops and stores in between. There you go. Welcome to Fort Wilderness. Okay, so let's continue and start walking through the fort. See a lot of bicycles here. I believe there is one place where you can rent bikes. We didn't do that year, but we thought that was a cool idea too. There's a settlement trading post. I think that's one of the stores. There's also Pioneer Hall with some food options down that way. There's a children's playground. Oh, gotta make sure I'm not going on a trail that gotta get run over by. Yeah, so there would be a store in there, but let's try to recall where the trail is. You got the playground equipment there. I think I'm headed in the right direction to just start walking on the trail. See if Google Maps helps me confirm that. Fort Wilderness Trail. I think we could go either that way or through here. Maybe I should go on the left side here. It looks like the carts might go in the middle. So this is the walking path for pedestrians. So another thing to consider if that's your thing, you can spend some time walking through here during a stay or biking through here if you can find the bike rental place. I'm not sure if I'm going to pass it in this video, but there is something that exists in the nearby area. I'm also not sure if we're going to pass by it, but again, it'll sound silly. My brother and I had wondered back then if there was anywhere on the Disney properties that had basketball courts. And somewhere as we were passing through, we saw a one basketball court unit, or like a very miniature half court sized thing. Obviously it's not the full half court, it's like a tiny driveway space with a hoop and a little line with it. Looks like there's a path that goes that way too. I'm just gonna keep sticking with this middle one for now. Oh yeah, so it's actually a big loop trail. You could take all the way around. You can see people stationing their campers. And each space comes with a predefined or pre-set up picnic table. Now, if you are going to do this, be prepared for it to be a legit walk. Like, this isn't one where you're going to say to yourself, oh yeah, let me pass through for a second. You know, maybe like a little 5-minute walk. No. So I've already walked a few minutes, and it's, when I look at Google Maps, it says 22 minutes remaining on the walk. Now, for your sake of not having to watch the full 22 minutes, maybe I'll cut out some of the footage and then splice it together so it's just a portion of that. And also I'm trying to be conscious of my battery life in this heat on both the phone, my cell phone, and the camera here. So if I see like the basketball hoop, I'll splice that in, and then once I know I'm getting closer to the front, I'll film that as well. There were like big bird type animals that we saw here toward the front all those years ago. You know, if I see that again, I'll show that. But until then, just assume that I'm walking a very similar path for much of the next 20 minutes. Now there's a thing there that says bus stop 600 and 800, so now that I'm thinking back, I believe there are, or is a bus that goes through here. I'm just not sure how frequently that occurs. So if you start walking and you want to pull over, that should be one of those free Disney transportation buses. Got a group of people biking on this 90-degree day. Two things we can accomplish with this. One, appears to be one of the buses coming toward us, and then second thing, here's a playground with the beach volleyball, and there's that little basketball court I was talking about, and a tiny playground. So that's pretty cool. Got about 8 minutes to go on my walk. Very peaceful again. It's just hot. Oh, look, a little whatever you call those things. I'm sure I'm probably a little beet red. I mean, I feel physically fine, just sweating under the arms a little bit. I'm not like huffing and puffing by any means. As we get to the front, there's horse stables over there. That's funny, you got one of these golf carts decorated with Stitch. And then, is this the bus station over here? If it is, it's a little bit quicker than an 8-minute walk from my last update. So I gotta walk over there and see if that's truly the bus station. I see some people sitting there, so that's probably it. And it makes sense. I mean, you got the parking lot, and that's like what's presumed to be the entrance. Lots of electric carts. So this one, I don't think there's numbered stations. All the buses just pull up here and you got to pay attention to the front of the bus. Like this one says Disney Springs. Right now, just headed back. I caught that bus immediately and left. We're going to Disney Springs, and then I'm going to see, even though I didn't technically book it, if I can take my hotel shuttle, which comes at 5:30. It's 5:13 right now. If I can catch it back to the hotel. So I had to get off in Disney Springs again and walk through the park. I mean, not park, the surrounding area. I did a whole video on this though the other day, so feel free to check that out if you want a full tour of this area, which is my favorite spot in the Walt Disney World area. Doesn't matter that it's a hot day, you're still gonna have a ton of people in the Disney Springs area.